In today's news, the flip the switch moment is finally almost upon us. Although I'm sure you've heard this before, but in my opinion this is true. This time things are different, as in just 1 week from now everything can and everything will change. XRP's likelihood of an ETF will skyrocket following the imminent re-elections and therefore inevitable dismissal of Gary Gensler. Sources suggest nobody wants him to remain as SEC chair, not even members within the SEC. They are all abandoning him. And due to these developments, Bitcoin is now rallying towards its all-time high of $74,000. Now, first things first, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, posted that the next SEC chair should withdraw all frivolous cases and issue an apology to the American people. And considering the hypocrisy and inconsistencies with the SEC's arguments as shown in this image from Brian Armstrong, and also as explained in this segment of his interview with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse at the Philadelphia Fed meeting on digital asset ETFs, this is a message that I can definitely get behind. Listen very closely to this interview.
The Bitcoin ETF, my understanding, is the most successful ETF ever introduced. I think there's $17 billion of inflows. Now, again, just because I can't pass an opportunity to take a pot shot at the SEC, keep in mind they were actually dragged kicking and screaming into the approval of the ETF. A court ordered them to, kind of finally, okay, the quote was, "You're being arbitrary and capricious in their implementation of the law." And so the Bitcoin ETF, it's like there's clearly a lot of demand, and that has been successful. Interestingly, there were 2 filings around an XRP ETF, and then the next day the SEC announced they're going to appeal parts of the decision, which was, again, I think this doesn't feel like somebody who's trying to work constructively and with the core mission to protect investors.
So as you heard, Brad Garlinghouse confirmed effectively that institutions want access to XRP. There were 2 XRP ETF filings before Gary Gensler's SEC's timely appeal. So my interpretation of what Brad Garlinghouse is saying here to the Fed is that if Gary Gensler was not the chair anymore, XRP would already have multiple ETFs. And I think Brian Armstrong is in agreement here. I want you to pay attention to the wording and meaning behind his message here. The way I see it, Brian Armstrong is effectively confirming that the new SEC chairman will be introduced very soon enough for these so-called frivolous cases to still be ongoing and therefore needing to be dismissed. The Ripple lawsuit, for example, the Coinbase lawsuit, the Robinhood lawsuit, you name it, there are many, many more. And this also coincides with what institutional leaders and documents have been stating time and time again. The United States can't afford to be anti-innovation or anti-crypto anymore, so there's no future therefore for Gary Gensler at the SEC. If the SEC was to prevail, it would be a shit show for the entire crypto industry, but it wouldn't stop crypto, no it wouldn't. It would just push more of this innovation offshore, meaning America would be at a greater risk of falling even further behind. An apology is the least that they could do. It would be their only saving grace in my opinion, and it would at least reignite a little bit of trust back into the agency, which has been completely tarnished by Gary Gensler. As Chris Larson states here on CNBC, mind you, Gary Gensler has been the worst public servant in the history of the country. This is a very bold statement that was made on a mainstream media platform, again mind you. Everyone now is airing out their dirty laundry, taking constant pop shots at Gary Gensler, and it only gets better for us as investors and worse for him when you get members of the SEC who used to work there as well also jumping on the bandwagon. As we can see in this article from Fox Business journalist Elena Terrett right here, from enforcer to advocate, ex-SEC lawyer flips the switch from anti-crypto to pro-crypto. Here it talks about Layden Stewart, who spent 8 years as an enforcement attorney at the SEC, helping bring high-profile cases against major crypto companies like Coinbase and Ripple as well, for example. But now she's a partner at prominent law firm White & Case, helping defend the same type of clients she fought against when working for the SEC. Now, in summary of this article, Layden Stewart was shocked to come over to the crypto side of things and realize that institutions, crypto industries hate the SEC. Their hate for them actually stems from their unwillingness to work together. Crypto industries just want to have regulations, they want to work with the SEC, but they have shut them down time and time again. And then furthermore, in some very bullish news for us, she believes that Gary Gensler will be forced to resign before his term is up in 2026 because both Democrats and Republicans just don't like him. Regardless of who gets elected, he will be dismissed, meaning in just 1 week time from now, on the 5th of November, his head will start to be on a chopping block, on a guillotine. Ellen Stewart is just one of many SEC or former SEC employees who now stand against Gary Gensler. For example here, Hester Pierce, who is a current one of the SEC commissioners, who has publicly stated time and time again on numerous occasions that the policies and lack of regulatory frameworks called by the SEC is completely wrong. Take a listen to this.
Why do you think it's important for the nation to adopt more pro-crypto friendly stances and regulations?
Well, I think as I mentioned, it's not about being pro or anti-crypto. It's about saying I'm a regulator and my job is to regulate in a way that allows the markets to figure out what they want and what they don't want. And what my criticism has been is that we have taken a decidedly anti-crypto approach to the way we interpret our regulations. And I think that's completely wrong for us to do that. I think we need to go back to being neutral. And that means we do work with people and help them figure out how to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish while remaining consistent with our securities law objectives. And we could do that. It would not be hard for us to do. I mean, it would require some work, but it's not impossible. And I think that's the job of a regulator, to take new facts and circumstances and to work with people to figure out how they fit within the current framework, and then allow the public to make their own decisions about whether they want things or not. This is America, and people should be free to make their own choices. And so that's the world that I'm hoping that we can create with a more neutral regulatory framework.
This is why right now I am heavily stacking my bags. 1 week away from the start of a generational run, a flip of the switch moment. There is so much money to be made in this space right now, which is why I created a free to join Discord server. There's 440 of us right now who are working towards achieving financial freedom, spreading our knowledge in order to make as much money as possible in this cycle. So if you want to join, click the link in the description below, as in just 1 week from now, not just we have the re-elections, of course, which will kickstart Gary Gensler's resignation stopwatch, if you will, but also potentially his partner in crime, Elizabeth Warren's dismissal, will be imminent as well. As John Deaton highlights in this post, we are in desperate need of a massive reform in the politicians, effectively, leaders who will actually foster innovation and adopt the technology, not fight against it and lie to the people. We need younger faces, younger leaders for that, and Elizabeth Warren is the last thing this country needs. Listen closely to these two interviews he highlights in this post.
You two take a very different view of the cryptocurrency industry. Senator Warren says she wants to build a, quote, anti-crypto army to rein in what she calls crypto's threat to financial stability, consumer protection, climate, and national security. You have criticized her and federal authorities for what you claim is overly aggressive regulation of crypto. What's the right balance?
I'm fine. People want to buy and sell crypto. That's great. I am not usually holding hands with the CEOs of multi-billion-dollar banks, but this is a matter of national security.
This just shows you how dumb and conniving Elizabeth Warren really is, going from anti-crypto holding hands with Jamie Dimon, also telling Gary Gensler what questions she will ask him and how he should answer them, to now claiming she has no issue with people buying and trading crypto. What a load of rubbish. 1 week away now from a truly historic day, in my opinion, where we will likely, not financial advice likely though, we will likely see new all-time highs with Bitcoin and crypto. And keep in mind, retail still isn't here yet. We're still waiting for retail to enter into the space. Right now it's just institutions and us early investors. Better still as well, now just 2 days after the re-elections, we have another FOMC meeting, and as BlackRock CEO Larry Fink stated on Bloomberg, we will have at least another 25 basis point interest rate cut this year, and of course many more to happen in 2025 as well. So therefore meaning more pressure alleviated from the economy, and therefore more liquidity available to flood into the crypto market, sending crypto higher and higher. With regulatory clarity and a new SEC seemingly on the horizon, trillions of dollars will flood into the space, making all of us early investors, 5% of the world population as well, a lot of money. But of course, not financial advice, and do your own research. I better still come chill, chat and learn more in the free Discord server. Again, the link is below, but remember, don't look short term, think long term, and I'll see you in the next one.